Morning. Hi, Emma. Morning, Marie. Hi, Chrissy, Janet. Hi, June. Being a bit of a tease here because obviously these aren't new. Huh? There's no point me putting what's new right in front of you straight away, so because you'll just kind of look at it and then disappear off. Morning, everybody. You're all jumping on now. I've got a cup of tea, look. A big cup of tea. Wonder if I managed to drink it all while it's hot. Probably not. Probably not. It's exciting, isn't it? Revealing something new. I've been banging on at Phil for these since let me think, probably since April last year. So it's really nice to have them. Obviously not these, but the new product that I'm going to show you. Oh, Chrissy, you're too kind. Okay, I'll wait a couple of minutes then. Morning, Charmaine. Another one-day special under your belt. Good grief, they're really working you hard, aren't they? No, I'm not going to be doing anything with the paintbrush, so I'm all right. I'm not going to dip a paintbrush in it. I am going to be very careful not to put it down where I'm going to knock it over, though, because otherwise I'll knock it all over my Mac as well as all my other work that's on my desk. I know, I'm a big tease, aren't I? I've got to wait a couple of minutes now because Phil says he's having a bit of trouble with the stream. Hello, David. Yes, I know. Don't worry. As soon as Phil gives me the thumbs up, then we'll share, and then you can disappear off because you'll know what it is. It is something that I think you're going to want, and I think it's something you're going to need. I was a little bit late, I did manage to get on for 11, but I was actually doing some more stamping because it's quite addictive. I haven't made I've only made one sample so far because I've obviously been getting my demos ready. But Joanne and Alison and David and Lozzie have all made new samples for the shows, so that's really lovely. So we'll be able to share some of those. It is a different show. There are different shows tomorrow because I've got shows at 10 a.m, which is the new product that I'm going to show you very shortly. And then at 2 p.m. and at 5 p.m. and 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. are different shows to the one that's on at 10. So if you do normally buy from the craft store, then you'll be needing to buy during the 10 a.m. show because it won't be available in the later shows, and it won't be available to order afterwards, I don't think either. That's not been saying that it won't be available on future shows, because it might. And it's certainly going to be available on my website tomorrow morning, and also Phil's Honeypot Crafts as well. Go for it. You're in. Right, okay. So what we're going to have, the new product is going to be really useful for all of your fashionistas. So the summer fashionistas, which we've got on the 10 a.m. show, and also the original fashionistas and the Roaring 20s. It's also going to work very well with your Papillon Paradise slim strips and your Dragonfly Oasis slim strips, with a little bit of tweaking. But if you've got any of Trudy's DL size stamps, then you are going to need these. And it's not just that. You're not just going to get that one. Hang on a minute. Let me get myself organised. I'm getting excited now. We've got 4 brand new DL die sets. So they have all 4 of the edges that you're used to with your traditional rectangles that you need. So we've got your double deboss DL. We've got our double deboss inverted corner DL. We've got our double deboss rounded corner DL, and we've got our elegant eyelet DL as well. So very, 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 very excited to have these. So these are going to make your mats and layers for all your DL cards. And a DL is, the size of it is 1/3 of a sheet of A4. It's your traditional DL. It's not your tall slim that's very popular in the States. It's your DL, which we've had in the UK for absolutely years. So they're absolutely fantastic. So the largest die is going to be 20, hang on, I can't read that. 210 millimetres, so 21 centimetres by 99 millimetres. So that's 9.9 centimetres. I don't know why it's in millimetres instead of that. But each one has 7 die sets in it. So hopefully you'll be able... I don't think they come on a magnetic sheet, do they, Phil? Because mine didn't. We'll get Phil to just clarify that. I put mine on a magnetic sheet, obviously, because, you know, you do. But all 7 are going to be mix and matchable. These aren't the same, Caroline. They're not the same as Tall Slims. Tall slimline dies are going to make a piece of A4 folded lengthways in half. Normally I make a 4 1/8 inch by a 9 1/8 inch card. These are your DL, so these are going to be, if you're going to use these for your card blank, which you can, they're going to be 1/3 of an A4. Okay. Right, so these are actually smaller, so they're a little bit easier to deal with. You can definitely use the tall slimline dies with your fashionistas as well, but obviously these are going to be a little bit not as tall, so these are going to be fabulous. So what do they look like when they're actually cut out? I don't know, Julia. What do they look like when they're cut out? Well, I'll show you. I've got loads and loads of cutouts here. I haven't done boards because I just haven't. So obviously we can see when they're actually cut out, we're going to get that lovely double debossed detail, and of course it's perfect. It doesn't go all the way through. It's absolutely fantastic. So you've got your rounded, your inverted, your double D and your eyelet. Absolutely beautiful, and absolutely essential. And this size is your 3rd largest. So it's this one. So you've still got, bring this in again, space. You've still got 2 dies there for mats and layers. So I've tended to do, I've gone a little bit out of the park because I like to do 2 mats on mine. So I've quite often just cut a slightly bigger than DL card. I've cut an 8 1/2 inch by 4 1/8 inch card, just so I've got that sort of creamy colour at the back and 2 colours in between. So that's how I've done it. But you can, of course, use this largest die on your fold of your card and actually use that to make a card blank if you want to, and that's going to be a DL card. So that's how they look when they're just cut out, ready to stamp on. And I would suggest that it's a lot easier with your fashionistas to actually stamp second, because sometimes if you're using VersaFine Clair, the ink transfers to your mats, so you don't really want to do that. So has he said whether they're on a sheet or not? Has he said? Phil, can you just clarify whether they come on a magnetic sheet or not? I don't think they do, but can you just clarify it, please, my love? Thank you. Right, so, of course, then you want to do some mixing and matching, don't you? So, here's our inverted corner. So, obviously, if we do the next size on there and actually bring in one of our images, so this is one of the Summer Fashionistas, that's going to sit on there quite nicely. That's all like with like, okay? So, but of course you could bring in your rounded, and your rounded could sit on there, and then you could bring a fashionista that's cut with a straight. Lots and lots of mixing and matching, lots and lots and lots. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. We can also bring in, obviously have a rounded one on the outside and bring in our chappy in here. And we could have a rounded on the inside as well, so you can alternate it. Can you see how many permutations you're going to get? It's going to be absolutely tremendous. They'll come for, oh, they do come on sheets. Oh, okay. Okay, right. Okay, I'll change my listing then on my website when it goes live. Right. So okay. So then you've got you alternate if you want to, but of course you could then bring in your eyelet and have your eyelet on there. Remember, with the eyelets you're going to see the colour underneath, so they're going to look fab. Why am I buffering? So I can't see what I'm doing if it buffers. Hang on a sec. There we go. I can see me. Right, okay, so that looks fab, doesn't it, as well? You do obviously need them. You do. Right, so let's have another different backer. So let's have our straight backer. So obviously you can have straight with straight. And this is the new deep indigo card. So, and this is the craft. You can see the crafts. All the backers, the biggest dies I've been cutting out of the deep indigo. So you can see they're going to match with lots of different things. So if we want to go, we could go eyelet onto eyelet. Oh, sorry, eyelet onto double deboss, and that looks fabulous. Of course, you can still do your fussy cutting if you want to, and just pop them on top and do your backgrounds and whatever. So that's going to look fabulous. Then we've got our eyelet background, and we could have not that one. Let's have this one again, eyelet and eyelet. You could bring them just on here. Now, this is the only one from the Summer Fashionistas that does not fit on that third largest die because her arms are sticking out. But you can see that you could easily put her, this isn't going to look right probably, you could easily put her on that third largest one, do all your mats and layers, and then fussy cut her and pop her on. So you can still put her on a DL card. But obviously these mats and layers you can of course put on a bigger size card as well. So you could do your 8x8 card and you can pop them on there as well. You might not want to use all your layers, you could just drop it down and just use a couple. But obviously you can just mix and match. So all of these fashionistas are going to fit except for the Summery Beautiful. But of course you could cut her out of the largest but one, blah 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 blah. This is the largest but one. Her fingers end up on the double deboss, but if you still don't want a fussy cut, you can still do it. You absolutely can if you want to. Of course you can have lots of fun, and I've been playing with doing a trio of the girlies as well. So let's put the trio of the girlies onto craft and see lots and lots of die cuts here. Oh, that's it. So let's put them on craft, and then we'll put them on. So we've got the rounded, we've got the double D, and we've got the inverted double D. Obviously they're not coloured in, but that could be just obviously a horizontal DL. Yeah, so you've got your mats and layers for it. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. I've also cut, obviously you can mix and match your guys across the different collections. So let's just pull in, let's grab a different one. Let's grab the eyelet. Because it's lovely to mix and match, and it's nice. I tell you what, it's really nice to have them all at the same time, because obviously when we had the original double Ds, we didn't have the others that come in, and then the rounded and the inverted, and then the eyelets came in last. So on one show, you're going to get and in one collection, you're going to get the opportunity to buy all of the collections together. So it's just going to be absolutely brilliant. So obviously here we've got one of the Summer Fashionistas. These are from the original Fashionistas. So you've got a Man About Town and the Gorgeous Groom. Obviously you can bung a sentiment on there, so that's a great guy card, isn't it? So you're going to have lots and lots of potential. So there's your fashionistas. So the fashionistas are all going to go. Your Roaring 20s are going to fit as well. So let's just bring in some of these. Just the potential of this is just absolutely fantastic. So obviously we've got this guy here, because you can cut your frames as well, and obviously you can mix and match your frames. So here I've got my inverted cutting the inside of my frame and my double D on the outside. So I mean, that's the largest one. So obviously if we pop it on there, we're going to have a different colour underneath. And then we could bring in our wherever this man's called, so he could be in there. Now obviously these are stamped ahead of time, But so some of mine don't fit because I've been quite frugal with my cards. So obviously you need to make sure that if you're putting a frame around something, that you've actually got enough space top and bottom and on the side to put your frame around. So obviously it's not going to work with everything. So these are going to work. So you just bring in your dies. So you can tell by my middle one, obviously she's not on a proper piece of paper, so I'd a big enough piece of paper, so I'd have to actually cut her out. But I know that when I fussy cut her out, she's going to fit into that DL really, really, really well. And this one is going to be a bit of a challenge because of her cigarette, which she shouldn't really be smoking. But again, she still fits in your frame. If you were to cut the die out, the die would actually put the, you'd have your double deboss detail or your elegant eyelet detail cutting into a cigarette holder. But, you know, put a frame around her and that fits really, really well. Absolutely brilliantly. And again, this one, this one's going to have, her arms are going to be a bit of an issue, but again, if you use a frame rather than cutting her out with a die, you can go for her sitting in that third size double D. All of them are going to fit. All of them are going to fit. They're going to be absolutely brilliant. Look. So I think it's going to bring a new lease of life to your all of your fashionistas and roaring 20s, because, you know, if you don't like fussy cutting, because one of the nightmares for me about fussy cutting is cutting this area out here under the arms, because I don't want to see it as a different colour to my background. So I think it's brilliant having the dies, and I've been, like I say, I've been on at him since we had the first fashionistas. Can we have some DL dies? DL dies would be brilliant with these, and they absolutely are. So win, 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 win. Now, going on to your other stamps that could work with it, and we've got the Dragonfly Oasis on the shows. Look at all this mess I've got to sort out. And with this one, so if I wanted to put a frame around this, or if I wanted to cut it out, you can see you are going to lose perhaps a little bit on the bottom and the top, and it's not going to be quite wide enough on the side. And it's obviously it's the same with your Papillon Paradise. Goodness knows why the man himself didn't make them to fit exactly, but I'm sure he knows why. He has a reason. But it's easy, easy, easy peasy to actually extend that. So let's do it on this one, because I haven't coloured that one in. Nearly coloured this one in. And if I make a mess of this, it doesn't matter, because I'm not going to use it. So let's just to show you what you can do. So a lot of you will have, well, I'm done with it. Not to lose everything on the floor, which normally happens. There we go. So this is the moving mechanisms from the Papillon Paradise. So we've obviously got honeycomb in here, so you can actually extend out the side. You only need to extend out the sides with your broken honeycomb background. You can also use to extend it nicely, and with the Dragonfly. I did have a card to show you somewhere. What did I do with that? Honestly, the things I had to show. Oh, this there. Right by me. So obviously with the Dragonfly, so this one's been cut out with the third largest, and then we've got a mats and layers, and then like I say, I've done an 8.5 by 4 1/8 inch card, proper card, and you can see obviously that these sentiments are going to work. They're not on the show, but obviously they'll be around for a while. But here on the Dragonfly one, you've got these lines here which marry up with these lines in the Life Pros extra textures, so you can easily extend that with some of the patterns on here. You can also use the Crackle background stamp that there is as well to extend that out. See, I've managed to get Believe in there, but I've lost the bottom sentiment in there, but it doesn't really matter. It's just another way of using it and having mats and layers without having to actually cut them with your guillotine or your trimmer. So that's going to work. So just to very quickly show you how we could extend this, let's grab the and I think this is with pine cone. So all I'm going to do is just dip the stamp in there and add a little bit on the edges. It doesn't matter if it goes over, because it'll just look like it's part of the stamp itself. Like that. See, ready, that's going to look better. So if I bring in my frame, So even though it's not completely fitting yet, it still looks a little bit better than just having the gap. Of course, you can just ink around the edges like I did with the dragonfly one, and that's going to be absolutely fine. But we can actually bring in some like extra bits and pieces from here as well, the extra textures. So the lines are brilliant. Although there's no lines on this particular one, we can bring in that. And we will do some work with some of the stamps that are actually on the show. I know this one isn't. I just want to show you that if you, I know a lot of you got the Papillon Paradise, so you can actually just change it so it fits. I'm not worried that it's going over my honeycomb as well, because it's got a bit of a collage piece to it, and I know it's not fully coloured in. It's just so you get the idea, because it's all very well me telling you, but sometimes me telling you doesn't actually fit, does it? It doesn't compute until you actually see it. Let's just miss that bit out and just put some down here. So now when I bring in my frame, which would be to have the same effect if I actually die cut it and if I didn't bring a frame, that immediately now looks like it's one stamp. Okay, so don't worry here where you've got like a mechanism coming off of the side. If you bring in your sentiment discs, then you could put one there and one there, and nobody would ever know. Nobody would ever know that it wouldn't work. He's definitely onto a winner with these. Of course he is, because he's finally listened to me about them. They're just absolutely brilliant, aren't they? I mean, can you see how that's changed that just by adding that extra little bit on the side? I know I haven't got any of these stamps still in stock. Phil might have some on his honeypot crafts, but if you haven't got them, I know a lot of you have. It's another way to use something that you might have already got, and just kind of expand on those. So anywho, that's that. Let's actually do something with something that's on the show very quickly. I might have to disappear shortly because I've got my order from Phil coming in, so I've got to do lots of packing today. Right, so we're working on this chap here, and this is your Mr. Sunshine. I've gone ahead and coloured him in because I'm not really focusing on colouring in, obviously, but the colours I've used, and I was worried about my order coming. So I've used this one here and that one, and one of the hair I've used from set 1, then the skin tone, and also the darker colour in his hair from set 3. Okay, and the colour card I'm using is I'm using a double deboss. I'll just see if somebody's out there. A double deboss indigo, deep indigo, of the largest one, and I'm using an emerald pool elegant eyelet, and I'm not going to use it, but just to show you the difference, this is a summer citrine, so we could actually just pop our chappy on there and that would look absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and then that could go on our card here, and I still might do that. I still might work with that, but I haven't made my mind up. And this is your inverted one in there. Love the mix and match. But I've also got a background here that we're working on, and this is the linen texture background from the Summer Fashionistas, and I've stamped that on a rounded a corner deboss. Obviously when you actually stamp on a double deboss die cut, because of the actual deboss detail, you don't necessarily get it all the way up to the edges, but that's fine. We can always ink around the edges if we want to, but I wanted to stamp a couple of sentiments on here. So let's grab my thingy, what's it, Stamp to Impress. Take these out of the way. So I'm thinking, let's pop it in here and I'll show you what I'm thinking. It's very easy to go off at tangents with these dies because, you know, there's so many things you can do, especially with the stamps that are on the show. So we've got, our chappie's going to stand on there, Mr. Sunshine. So I'm thinking that, I mean, you can use your sentiment discs, absolutely, but it's nice to actually use some of the stamps that are actually on the show. So I thought we'd have Coolest Dude Ever down here. And and we could have Stay Cool up there. So we could have the two. See if I can get that straightish, and I can have a look when my platform comes over. Just to keep it quite flat, rather than have a sentiment that's up. You can as well, and I have done it, you can cut some of the smaller dies. So perhaps this second one here, a lot of the sentiments will fit in there. So you could cut that out, and if you want to actually reduce the size, so say your sentiment is only, say your sentiment only fills up that part there. So if you're doing a bigger card, what you can do is actually pop your die behind and have your sentiment panel coming out from underneath if you're doing an 8x8. But what you can also do is cut it out, then reseat the die back in again, and make sure that this edge that is the end of your sentiment is actually outside of your cutting plates, and then you'll cut a smaller die cut, which is quite a nice thing to be able to do. Hope that made sense. Made sense in my head. Right, so let's pop another one in there to make sure that these don't go anywhere. Okay, so we're going to stamp that in black because my actual Mr. Man himself is in black. I think we might have a sellout tomorrow morning. What do you think? I think I can see me reordering as well. Oh, that's in the way. So, like I say, they'll be available on my website early in the morning, and they'll be available on Honeypot Crafts, but on the craft store they'll only be available during the 10 AM show. I won't be able to send any orders out till next Wednesday though, I'm afraid. There we go. Because I'm going to see my daughter for the weekend, who I haven't seen since September, and it's my birthday on Tuesday, so I'm not working on Tuesday. I'm determined not to work on Tuesday. Treat myself to my birthday off. Eat lots of cake and ice cream. That's what I'm going to do. Coolest dude ever, and stay cool. So when he comes in here, I think that's going to be a fabulous card. Fabulous. So obviously if we wanted to, I could have just not done the stamp background, and I could just stamp my sentiments on here. But we're going to use this and just do our mats and layers. I mean, we could swap that one out and have the Zingy Chartreuse and have that on there like that. But I think I like it with the, do I like it with the Emerald Pool? I'll let you guys decide. Here we go. So, shall I put him on Zingy Chartreuse and then the Deep Indigo? Or shall I put him on the Emerald Pool? I mean, I know what I'm going to do anyway. But, wait, let's just see what you guys think. Don't be daft. I never get a card from Philip. He makes me one, but he's say, this is for Julia. She's not getting it, but this is for Julia. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Right, so I'm not going to have that one. I'm not going to have the Emerald Pool. I'm going to have it Zingier. I'm going to put him on the Zingy Chartreuse. So, let's get these all set up. I don't know if I want to put foam tape between them. Let's do it so that we can have it not too high. Let's put 1mm foam tape in between them. He would want it back. remember when he made cards for me and Lisa, and he made a big thing about it because it was in a box as well. We never got them. Yeah, definitely zingy chartreuse. Yes, and that's what I'm going for. I'd already decided. I'm a bit like Phil. I decide what I want to do anyway, and I just ask you because I can. So I've not inked around the edges. I'm just going to keep it nice and plain. Oh, that sounds like my delivery. One sec. Oh, yeah, it is. Right, okay. I'm going to leave you looking at that. I'll be back in a sec. Yeah, I'll be alright. Thanks, my darling. Thank you. Bye. I'm back. Sorry about that. 3 heavy boxes, Mr. M. Good grief. Out of breath now. Where's my tape? There it is. How are we all? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna eat cake. I need to work really, but I'm not going to. Quarter in for that as well. The joys of being self-employed. It's really good, isn't it? I honestly think that it's just, think of all your backgrounds that you can do as well. And the team have made some 8x8 cards as well, which look fab. My first demo is going to be an 8x8 card. But obviously it's quite nice to make the smaller ones as well. If this was Phil's, it would be about that thick. The guys have always been really popular with the fashionistas. I think because they're just so kind of relatable with perhaps people that are in your family. And obviously we are getting towards the summer season, so it's nice to bring the summer ones back again. Oh, need that. Things crashing down everywhere. Being a bit dangerous with my tea, actually. I know what to move that. That's the rest of my day then. Packing. And heading over to the post. I don't like going over to the post office on a Thursday because it's actually open. Because I go to the sorting office. And so I have to queue. Normally I just dump my bag and run when they're shut. So I have to see people. I've got my second jab next week as well. Busy, busy, busy. Come on. Cut my nails. There we go. So last layer on there. I mean, just that on its own just looks wonderful, doesn't it? Even without our Mr. Man on top. Mr. Sunshine. Let's put him on a 1mm as well. So we've got, how many layers have we got? 1, 2, 3. So I'm at 3mm, whereas Phil would be at what, 9mm by now. I haven't used a scan and cut. I haven't got a scan and cut. In my garage, I've got a Cricut, which it wasn't originally mine. It was, well, it was given to me for demonstration purposes. But I can't remember the password on it. I don't know how to use it, really. Haven't got the patience with it. So, no, I cut everything out by hand. Absolute nightmare. I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world. I Look at this. This is going nowhere. It's having lots of little bits of foam tape on it. Need a bit on his foot there. Make sure that's not showing. I can't be doing with foam tape showing. There we go. And then with 3 hours taking the backs off. You don't need a scan and cut at all. It would take you too long to work out how to use it. And then it'd be, Julia, how do you use this? I haven't got a clue because I haven't got one. So don't ask me. I can't be your tech support on the scan and cut. Yeah, new shop in Sheffield. Can't wait to see that. I expect you'll be wanting me to come up, won't you? What's... I don't understand what you're saying there. You're obviously talking about loads of stuff I don't understand. I can't get the back of this last one. Oh, there we go. Painful, painful. Okay, so here he goes. Obviously, he's leaning on something on his stamp. Leaning on a wall or something, but it's easy to just snip that off. So there we go. There's our coolest dude ever, Mr. Sunshine, on our dies. So we're using the rounded, we're using the eyelet, and we're using the regular double D on that one. Isn't it fabulous, looking at all the different layers? So shall we just, before we finish, because I'm not going to show you anything else because I've got a lot of packing to do, if that's all right, I hope that's okay. Should we just recap the die so you can actually see, and we'll look at just some of the layers again, just because I know some people might have missed the beginning. Would you like to do that? Okay, so put that to one side and grab the dies. So here's your dies. So you've got your Slender Collection double debossed die. You've got your rounded double D. You've got your inverted double D, and you've got your eyelets as well. And you've also got a magnet there. Okay, so they're going to fit loads and loads of different stamps. All of your fashionistas, they're going to fit your summer fashionistas, your original fashionistas. They're going to fit your roaring 20s as well. You know, you're going to be able to make anything fit, really. You know, you could even put a little scene of some of the woodland animals in there, especially if you've got the little tiny ones. Then that's going to look fantastic. So when they're cut, and they are, the largest die will make you, in each set will make you your DL card blank. So you've got all your mats and layers. So when they're cut, you're obviously going to get that lovely double deboss detail. So there's your rounded, you've got your lovely inverted there, you've got your regular double D, and you've got your elegant eyelet. All four are going to be available for you to purchase from tomorrow. Lovely. And then when you start mix and match, that's when you're going to get a lot of things that you can do. So obviously we've got here, there's the eyelet. So then we've got a rounded one, deep indigo, new rust. Then we can pop one of our chappies on. Oh, same one again, Mr. Sunshine in an inverted. So that's going to go onto your card, looking fabulous. You've got your rounded, again in deep indigo. Then you've got totally turquoise in an inverted. And you've got our, whatever she's called, fashionista, one of the summer ones. I can't remember her name. It is Sunshine Happy, and she's on the eyelets. Then we've got an inverted, and we've got our eyelets, deep indigo, emerald pool. We could have our girlies on here. So we've got 3 girlies on here with our rounded. And there should be one more back here somewhere. Where's the other one? There it is. So then you've got your double D. Sounds like a bra size, doesn't it? So you've got indigo, then you've got your craft, and you could be having our inverted, and you could either be fussy cutting them out and popping them on top, or you could be inverted, or you could be having your rounded and one cut out. So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of permutations that you can have. Obviously you can have your different colour cards, you can do all sorts of stuff, but so do watch out for these tomorrow, launching at 10 o'clock on the craft store, and it's only available on the craft store for that hour. But obviously you can get it from both Phil's and my website from tomorrow onwards anyway. And then we've got different shows at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. So thank you very much for joining in. I hope you're as excited about these wonderful new dies as I am. And please prove me right that we really, really needed them. And make sure you get your collection. I will see you, facing the floor. I will see you tomorrow on the telly box at 10. Thanks for joining me. Bye.